Testing. Hello. Dr. Grind. Godfather. HR3. Come to the studio, please. It's time to go live.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting from North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, this is TGD Today. And now, please welcome Hero the Third,
HR3.
Al Cloyd,
Dr. Grind.
George Honeycutt, the Godfather.
All right, welcome back, Golfing World, to TGD Today. This is Pro Golf Talk Live here in TGD Studio 1. I'm with HR3, Hugh Roy III. We're going to take you through what's going on in the world of golf as of today.
There's stuff going on.
Stuff
a bunch
going
of
on.
it.
European Tour.
Bunch of it.
Back in action. Good to see them coming back. This, of course, their first event of their new season. So 2015 kicks off for the European Tour, and they are in Johannesburg, South Africa.
Johannesburg.
At
Johannesburg.
Glendower.
For the South African Open. And I'm going to tell you what, folks.
It's
if
a golf
this is their
course.
first one, what a golf course to start it on. Because I'm going to tell you what, this is a man-sized golf course. I mean, for those of you that have never played in Kikuyu grass, the rough that they get down on this golf course it's in an area of Joburg that it grows, George, like I've never seen. I mean, I remember when Ernie Els, who's tied for second place right now, came out at 16 years old, finished second to Fred Wadsworth. I mean, I was just trying to get it in the fairway. I didn't care if I had to hit 5-iron off the tee, because if you hit it in the rough, you couldn't do anything with it. And, I mean, you're seeing some of it now. You can get breaks to where it'll sit up, and when it sits up, you can hit driver off of it. It's that plush. But if it ever gets down in it, it's like hitting it out of a wire brush. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we saw shots early this morning. Of course, coverage began early for us here in the U.S. On the Golf Channel, but you saw the likes of Charles Schwartzel, George Cotsey, several others that are known ball strikers but get in the rough literally just 3 or 4 feet out of the fairway. And they are, they're only sending it up the fairway maybe 70, 80 yards.
Oh, exactly. And you're looking at 17-yard fairways. I mean, this is worse than any U.S. Open as far as width of fairways. And the thing about this golf course that makes it tough, too, and we're talking about the rough and the size of the fairways, but look at how many trees. This golf course reminds you a lot of Harbor Town from the standpoint of how trees hang over, and you have to work around trees to get to greens or into fairways. And it's a ball striker's golf course, and I think that's where Ernie, shows back up, and everybody goes, well, he hadn't played that great, this and that, and now all of a sudden look at what he's doing.
Well,
because it's about moving your
ball. Announced basically before the event kicked off back in the Pro-Am on Tuesday of this week that he had really taken the time off over the holidays, of course, for family time, but he had really gone back to working with his irons. And he has stepped back, which you've talked about before with Tiger and several others. He has stepped back with trying to hit the ball so far with his irons. He's now gone back to a more controlled ball flight, more controlled distances. And today it showed tremendously because he was pin hunting.
He's pin seeking, yeah,
from the get go.
And that's what it is. I mean, I don't care if you can hit an 8-iron 175 or 80 yards,
exactly,
or if you hit it 140 yards. I mean, it's a matter of can you control it and do you know where it's going. And so everybody nowadays gotten so consumed with how far you hit it, and the golf courses have gotten longer. I'm not going to argue that. I understand people say, well, the golf courses you got to hit it further, but it's repetitive, and I'm sorry, but it's 13 clubs and a putter. Learn to use them.
Right.
And that's what he's done.
And speaking of putter, he's gone to the shorter putter.
Yep.
He's gone back to the for him, it's 35 inches. And Ernie's a big guy. So 35.
He's 6'4", yeah.
Yeah, Ernie, a 35-inch putter is like a 28-inch putter for me. Yeah. So he's gone back to the shorter putter, and it seems to be working somewhat well. He said he got nervous over a couple of putts this morning. but it was primarily the 12 to 15 footers with a lot of break in it. And the greens are absolutely marvelous at Glendower. Mm-hmm. So he said the golf course could not be in any better shape. He's so proud to be the ambassador host for this event. It was previously, of course, Mr. Player, and there was, help me with the name here, the gentleman who won it 5 times, the South African Open. He was the previous ambassador.
John Bland, Simon Hobday.
When I think of it,
Dennis.
It'll come to me.
Dale Hayes.
No. But whatever. So Ernie now has been tasked with this. Evidently the plan is, Hugh, that they're at Glendower this week, and then next year they're going to another course. The intent is over the next 5 years is to spotlight a different course in and around Johannesburg, in Joburg, to, kind of show that golf in this area of the world is thriving, it's doing great, and look at the golf courses that we have, and you should come visit us.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. They've got some of the best golf courses as far as layout and conditions that you'll ever see. Now, some of them, maybe like Glendower, which is a private club.
Right.
You've got the Wanderers. You've got Royal Johannesburg. There's tons of them, but Gavin Levinson is the director of golf, head pro here at Glendower now, and he played on the European Tour and played the South African Tour when I played. And I know him very, very well, even though he's older than I am, and just a very, very nice man. And what he's done junior golf-wise in South Africa, which shows what's going on now and all these kids coming up. Watching this to me is like a homecoming, because I've got a lot of friends that I played with down there and against that, Hendrik Bierman and different, they just, Kevin Stone, they're all playing in this, but yet they're also club pros too.
Right.
So it's a pretty cool thing to see them out there playing practice rounds with their students, and it's kind of fun to watch.
Ernie was very impressed with how many youngsters, of course, it's basically still their holiday there, and how many youngsters showed up for day one, and he was extremely pleased about that. He said he spent literally hours signing autographs the other day, and then actually he played early morning, teed off at 7:30 local their time, and then this afternoon he's actually doing a clinic for autism. And so this being after the first day of the tournament.
Yeah.
So which is, again, that's Ernie. I mean,
and it's also something very close to his heart. His son has autism,
yeah.
so I mean, he and Liesel both they have a big thing for autism.
And the foundation,
with the foundation because of their son, and it hit home. But I'm gonna tell you this: he's one of those guys that we used to tease them all because they're all Afrikaners, which is from Dutch descent. Every one of them, from Hendrik to Schalk van der Merwe to Ernie, we always called them Dutchie because they're Dutchmen, and they've got hearts of gold. I mean, that's kind of our version of what's here in America. I mean, they're the Southern gentlemen of South Africa.
Well, you've got -6, 2 people at -6, Andy Sullivan and Jeb Kruger, who are both at -6. Actually, Andy is still out on the golf course. He's just finishing 17 and going to 18. Then you got Ernie at -5 today. Great to see Ernie back up there at the top of the leaderboard. This is a very trying week for the host and ambassador of a particular tournament. And but as we've seen before several times, Tiger winning his own events, and now very much Ernie could win his own event. So good for him. It's good to see him back. He's 48 years old now, Hugh. So he's literally got the Champions Tour staring him around the corner.
Yeah.
That'll be a lot of fun.
It will be.
When Big Easy ends up getting out there. So Lassie Jansen is at 5 under par. You got Jordy Garcia at 4 under, David Drysdale at 4 under, Charles Schwartzel, who I mentioned earlier, at 4 under, Richard Sterney. Good to see Richard again, cranking right back into 2015, playing well at 4 under par. He's still on the course. Nicholas Faust is at 3 under. He's finished for the day. Eduardo Molinari brought out a longer putter for the new season. Seemed to be making some putts. Finished at 3 under par, 69 for the day. You got Jacqueline at 3 under, Murray at 3 under, Van Ruin, who what a good looking young man he is. Eric Van Ruin. I have never seen him play before, man, he's kind of 5'8", 5'9" type frame. Looks like when he turns sideways, you lose him. But, man, he can pound a golf ball. I was watching him tee off this morning, and he's really got a good swing to him. So if you look at the names that are up there, of course, there were, as Hugh noted, this is an extremely difficult, almost a U.S. Open style of golf course, the way they set it up, the rough, the size of the fairways. There are several holes, although they may be shorter in the yardage aspects, but they require irons off the box.
Yeah.
And then not only do you have to hit the iron off the box to reach a very small width-wise fairway, but you got forced carries over water hazards or over ravines or over ditches or over whatever. And so it is a shot maker's golf course. And then they've got the third, the par 3, 12th, I think it is, this green, I mean, you could literally take my house and put 3 of them on this green. It is huge. Yes. Huge. And the pin placement options that they have on that
the
green.
undulations in these greens.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that's the thing that I don't think folks understand. This golf course, it's that good. And it is not one of your 7,700-yard golf courses that, you know, we see over here. It's a golf course to where, obviously, like you just said, a shot maker's golf course, but you've also got to think your way around it. You've got to be able to check your ego and know what it takes to put the ball in play and put it on the green, because as you can see, 6 under par is leading after the first round, but even par is tied for 40th right now.
Right.
So that's well within the cut line, and, par is not a bad score around this joint.
I watched 2 players this morning literally get to 4 under par on the front 9, and by the time they finished, they were at even or worse.
Yes.
So that tells you how much this course will jump up and bite you in a hurry.
Trust me, there's enough willow trees around here. You hit it in the rough and try to do something crazy out of it, and one of those willow trees gets it, you may not see it again.
You may have a tree climber.
Yes.
Speaking of 70,000-yard golf courses, the PGA Tour starts tomorrow. Again, doesn't start their season. This is the wraparound, which I think has taken a lot of luster off of this tournament. We've talked about it before. But, however, Kapalua, of course, the Tournament of Champions by Hyundai, begins tomorrow, Friday through Monday. It is still a 4-day event, folks, but Friday through Monday. And that, again, is our networks fighting one another, because you'll see NBC broadcasting from Kapalua, showing Hawaii, showing the warm temperatures, and then you'll see the CBSs and the ESPNs with the quote-unquote national championship Monday night for college football. So they'll be bumping right up against one another, trying to go after those viewer points. So, but again, it is Kapalua, 7,400-plus yards, Hugh. So it's a bomber's paradise, okay? But who's the defending champion? Zach Johnson. Mr. Dink and Dunk, Mr. Wedge player, the best wedge player probably in the game. And basically what it boils down to, folks, is he's just going to hit it out there in the fairway, and then he's going to pull that wedge or that lob or that sand or that gap or whatever he's going to be hitting, a 9-iron, 8-iron, whatever, compared to everybody else who's going to be 50 yards by him. And then he's just going to say, okay, come catch my little 2-foot approach. Come catch my little 1.5 below the hole.
Well, he obviously reads those grainy greens pretty well. So, I mean, that's he
normally hits it so close with his wedge.
Yeah.
Most of his putts are within, the walk up, pull out the stick, and let me tap it in. So it makes a world of difference between those bombers that are out there. Yeah, they're hitting it 350. Hey, great, good for you. Have fun.
Yeah.
I'll be back here just kind of sniffing up your backside, and watch out for that wedge as it comes through. So, again, Zach brings that with him in that style of game and that confidence level with those short irons, to where you can take a Kapalua and bring it down to its knees.
You can. And, you talk about Kapalua, George, as being 7,400 yards, but it doesn't play that long. I mean, with all the drops and elevation but it is a golf course that.
But dude, you also have the climbs and elevation.
I agree.
For you to drop, you got to climb.
Oh, I agree.
So,
but the beauty of it is when the wind blows. I love watching it when the wind blows.
First time I played there, I was so anticipating, looking forward to getting to 18 and being able to look out, and hopefully I was going to see some whales out in the bay, and I could see the green down there and on the left, and I'm going, man, I just got to take this down the right-hand side. But, dude, by the time I got to 18, I was so damn tired because I climbed 14, 15, 16. I was beat because I walked the course the first time I played it.
Well, now you know how I felt. We played Castle Pines out there in the middle of the International,
dude.
out there with no altitude.
Hey, doing something like that just makes you appreciate you guys' job much, much more and then to appreciate the caddy for, toting around that 70-pound bag, that backpack. So, I toted a rifle and a pack in the military, but there ain't no way I'd hump a damn bag around Kapalua. There ain't no way I'd hump a golf bag with 14 clubs and 37 balls in it. So
I'm still amazed that Damon Green still can tote it around there for Zach. So he and I've known each other for years, and we're the same age.
Or Fluff,
so.
You got to wonder. I watched Fluff hump it around there, and you got to go, my God, how does he do that?
Well, there's nothing in there.
I understand. Dude.
Trust me, there's nothing.
I understand, dude. I've caddied before. You, Dave Maddox, several other players, but. And, the story goes, I took Dave's bag and dumped it out,
oh, yeah.
End over end, right there in front of Barkley and several others at the U.S. Open Senior Qualifiers. And I just looked at, Maddox brought 40 balls, I think, and I'm sitting here. I filled up these Walmart plastic bags full of junk, and I gave it to the bag guy, and he took it back into the clubhouse and sat it beside the cart path, the cart barn. I just picked it up at the end of the day when we were done with our qualifiers. But, Kapalua is just it's a spectacular viewing. The area is just phenomenal. It's fun to watch these guys play this tournament because of the shot making the shot making requirements that are there.
Yes.
You do see them hitting smaller irons and wedges into par fives, par fours, even the threes, but the undulation of the greens, the spin that they get off the front edges, the false fronts on these things, it keeps you into the moment with every shot and every player that they're showing, whether they're in the hunt or not.
Yeah.
You just want to see it happen. And it used to be, Hugh, and I go back to my original argument, and Jeff, I'm only going to cover this a minute, but again, this wraparound season, and, they taking Q School and putting it back for the web.com and that whole area there. I agree with all that, and I think, the web.com tour qualifying Q School now is got the drama and the expectation and the heartache and the everything that comes with Q School. I'm glad that's there. But now doing this big, long wraparound season and all that is definitely take the luster off of what we used to feel like was our first tournament of the year.
Well, I remember when they used to play it at La Costa.
Yeah.
That was the big thing, getting to La Costa. You'd have Norman, Nicholas, Paul, Trevino. You'd have all those guys back in the day playing there because that was the tournament of champions.
Yeah.
That guaranteed you back in the Masters, not just that year, but the next year because you were back in that tournament because you were a tournament winner. Things have changed. The web.com tour school is a good thing because it's basically guaranteeing quality of talent going to the PGA Tour every year.
Oh, I agree with it.
But the wraparound thing, I think you've got to take a break from golf. Football does it, baseball does it, basketball does it. Heather's miserable now till end of August, 1st of September for pro football.
Right.
People need a break from things. You get into it, you get involved in it, give it a break, and then let everybody jump back into it. That's just my own thought.
Well, I guess my biggest issue is primarily, there's even discussion at the PGA Tour level over the last 7 days that should we take Kapalua and actually not go back there? Should we take the Tournament of Champions, whoever the sponsor is, and bring it back to the States? That's a current discussion. and that would bring more players into it.
No, it's not going to bring more players. It might bring more viewership because it's a different venue. Player-wise, no.
I would argue the viewership aspect in the fact that I think Kapalua draws.
It does, George, but it depends on where you go.
Well,
You know?
it would depend on, but where are you going to go back in the States? I mean, that's going to draw.
There's some awful good ones that are, whether they're in Arizona or they're somewhere in California, that people have not seen, that if you take it there, they may have heard, this exclusive, ultra exclusive club, but people watch it just so they can see the golf course.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm saying is, you bring it back here, they still got to go to Honolulu.
They're still going to go to Wailea.
So
because Sony's not going to let that disappear for some
that
time.
tournament's not going to hurt like we talked about the other day. I want to see how many web.com guys actually get in and what regular guys go over there. But you're still going to go from here to Wailea.
And we'll be able to report on that field coming up Monday on Monday Morning
and
Golf
then you're
Wrap,
coming back. So, there's a lot of things. And I just think the tour is trying to figure out and take the boredom away from it, because this whole wraparound has created a lot of boredom in the game as far as professional golf and the PGA Tour.
Yeah, you're right. Let's look at the field real quick. Again, they're teeing off tomorrow, Friday through Monday, and that, of course, is a change to the normal finish of Sunday, of course. But Kevin Stadler goes off at 10:10 a.m., and these are local times in Hawaii. Kevin Stadler at 10:10 a.m. with Nick Taylor. Scott Stallings is playing with Sangmu Bay, who is one of my picks to win. Robert Strebs with Ben Martin. Ben Cranes with Matt Jones. Tim Clark with Stephen Boatwich. Angel Cabrera is playing with Charlie Hoffman. Camilo Villegas is with Chesson Hadley. I hope Chesson has a good tournament. I would like to see him come out guns a-blazing. That boy can pound a ball.
I tell you what, I didn't even think about this the other day when we kind of made our picks, but I'd like to see Brian Harmon play well. I think this golf course suits him very well for the way he hits the golf ball.
Good catch there. They got Ryan Moore with J.B. Holmes. That'll be a good pairing. That'll be fun to watch. So Ryan Moore, not the longest of hitters, but yet he's very accurate. He just hunts pins, dude. He's much like JB in the fact that they don't spend a lot of time over the ball, just get up and hit it. So that'll be a lot of fun. Hideki Matsuyama is with Jeff Ogilvy. Good to see Jeff Ogilvy back in the event, two-time winner. And so it's good to see him back and participating in this again.
They had a thing come across the screen up here. The guy's 48 under par over 8 rounds.
Yeah.
In his 2 victories.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I hope Jeff gets his game back. He's never gone anywhere, but yet he's never really done anything. And, everybody thought that Jeff just several years ago was one of those guys, again, that was going to jump up there and be the marquee player. And possible world number 1, but just never came about. Russell Henley's with Patrick Reed. They put Matt Kuchar with Jason Day. Good pairing. I like that. That'll be for TV viewing.
Yes.
And then they put Chunk and Dunk with Jimmy Walker. So Hunter Mayhans with Jimmy. So, again, they should have sent them off early. I really don't care to see that. I don't mind watching Jimmy. And then they put Chris Kirk, of course, with Bubba Watson. That'll be a fun pairing.
Yep, 2 Georgia boys.
Yep, absolutely. And Billy Horschel with Zach Johnson, defending champion.
So you go. There's your limited field, but should be some good scores. I would expect some low scores unless the wind starts to blow.
And the wind's supposed to blow.
And if the wind blows, it'll be fun to watch, folks, because you can watch how the good guys, the best in the world, how they struggle with that stuff too.
Yeah. Again, the women, they don't start back till the end of January. Web.com tour is still a week or 2 away. Is that right?
It's more than that, I think.
Is it more than that?
They start March.
March?
Yeah,
Really? I thought it was
so.
February. But
so.
Okay, well, again, the Hyundai Tournament of Champions begins on Friday, January the 5th. Actually, no, that's Friday, January the 9th, excuse me. And the purse is $5.7 million. Winner's share is $1.14 million.
And I apologize, you are correct. They start on my birthday in Bogota, Colombia.
Okay.
February the 13th.
Yeah, I thought it was February. So, good. Bogota, Colombia. We'll look forward to that. Again, I dedicate this year, and we're doing many more shows and that, Hugh, but I want to get really more involved in the Web.com tour. I want to start following some of these guys. Let's start looking at those players that we we can anticipate them jumping up to the PGA Tour. And again, it's going to be interesting to see the final roster for next week, to see how many Web.com graduates get into the Sony, get into Yline. We'll see how that all works out, and we'll be able to report on that Monday at the Monday Morning Golf Wrap.
Exactly.
So, again, and also, too, we'll be through 3 rounds of Kapalua, so we'll have one of those unique opportunities on Monday to catch everybody up on what's going to happen at Yline, but we also can forecast and predict and project and talk about
the finish for Monday.
Won't that be fun?
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about, of course, what's going on down at Glendower in South Africa.
Sounds good.
So that'll be a lot of fun. For Hugh Roy III, I'm George Honeycutt. We thank you so much for joining us on Pro Golf Talk Live here on TGD Today. And, of course, TGD Radio and TV are produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for thegolfdirector.com. When visiting the Golf Director site, navigate over to our featured course pages where you'll find up-to-date information about course conditions, specials, and much more. If you need any help with any golf vacations or just vacations only, just give us a call at 844-GO-GOLF-1. That's 844-464-6531. And, hey, just ask for Dave. All of our TGD programming is archived for listening and viewing on demand. To catch up on any show you may have missed, click on the TGD Radio or the TGD TV tabs in the menu screen at thegolfdirector.com. For George Honeycutt, Hugh Roy III, Jeff behind the glass, we want to thank you for joining us and tuning in. There's more TGD golf news and information coming up next.